The 10 coolest places you're not allowed to visit. Number 1 is Heard Island Volcano, Australia. This desolate volcanic Antarctic island, an Australian outside domain around 66% of the path among Madagascar and Antarctica, is viewed as perhaps the most far-off spots on Earth. The 368 square mile landmass is hilly, has 41 icy masses and is likewise home to a variety of untamed life including penguins, seals, and marine fowls. Anyway, in 2000, the University of Hawaii saw a 2-kilometer-long magma stream coming from the southwest side of Mawson's Peak, a 2,745-foot-high complex spring of gushing lava which has been dynamic from that point forward. Beside the spring of gushing lava and its perils, the climate on the island is famously poor. Furthermore, it's a base 14-day sail to some other significant landmass, making it perhaps the most perilous and hardest spots on the planet to get to. Number 2 is Snake Island, Brazil. Ilha de Queimada Grande, or Snake Island, as it is more lovingly known, is a 43-hectare island situated off the Brazilian coastline, roughly 20 miles from the Sao Paulo shore. The island is home to one of the globe's most dangerous types of snake, the golden lancehead viper, whose toxin can eat through substance. There are more than 4,000 of them on the island, yet nearby legend proposes that there is one snake for each 5 square meters of the land. Whatever the case, the Brazilian government has precluded any guests from walking there with one special case. Every couple of years the public authority gives a modest bunch of researchers a license to examine the snakes. Number 3 is North Sentinel Island, Andaman Islands. This little, intensely forested island in the Bay of Bengal is totally encompassed by coral reef, making it hard to approach by boat. Notwithstanding, its unavailability isn't the primary snag to a visit. North Sentinel Island is possessed by a little native populace known as the Sentinelese, who have dismissed contact with any remaining people groups. They are among the world's last networks to stay immaculate by current human progress. In 2008, 2 anglers whose boat unintentionally wandered excessively close were apparently murdered by the clan. What's more, in the wake of the monstrous 2004 Indian Ocean quake and coming about tidal wave, research helicopters surveying the harm and the territory were assaulted by the Sentinelese, who shot bolts and tossed stones as the airplane flew over the coastline. Number 4 is Lascaux Caves, France. This mind-boggling arrangement of caverns, situated in northwestern France, is home to one of history's most celebrated instances of Paleolithic cavern canvases ever found. The old craftsmanship is accepted to be more than 17,000 years of age and portrays generally pictures of huge creatures that have been demonstrated through fossil unearthings to have been living in the zone around then. The caverns are even recorded as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Anyway, since 2008, the caverns have been totally shut off to the public after a contagious episode, with just a little modest bunch of researchers permitted to enter for only a couple days a month to contemplate the artworks. Number 5 is Poveglia, Italy. This little island is situated among Venice and Lido inside the Venetian lagoon in northern Italy. Since its commencement, it has been home to a post, utilized as a transportation checkpoint, been an isolate station for the bubonic plague, and since the turn of the only remaining century, there has been as a refuge. In 1968, the mental emergency clinic was shut down and the island was deserted. It's no big surprise, Poveglia has for some time been viewed as perhaps the most spooky place on Earth. Talk has it that the phantoms of plague casualties, war casualties, and the apparition of a deadly refuge specialist meander the rotting grounds. The Italian government offered the island up for long-haul rent, 99 years, in 2014 with the expectation that somebody would redevelop the land. Number 6 is Vatican Secret Archives, Vatican City, Italy. Covered profound inside the dividers of Vatican City, and generally underground, are the Vatican Secret Archives, which house the monstrous history of the demonstrations of the Holy See, alongside note for the reports, state papers, ecclesiastical record books, and other authority correspondence, some of which goes back to the 8th century. Things incorporate letters from Michelangelo, a letter from Mary Queen of Scots composed while she was anticipating her execution, and King Henry VIII's solicitation for a marriage abrogation. The files, which are the authority property of the current pope, have been assessed to length more than 52 miles of racking with more than 35,000 things. Other than a tiny staff who deal with the documents, access is carefully restricted to qualified researchers from select advanced education and exploration organizations, every one of whom need to go through a thorough access application cycle to be allowed passage. Number 7 is I's Grand Shrine, Japan. This Isa shrine, situated in the town of Ujitaki in the Mie Prefecture of Japan, is a Shinto sanctuary complex devoted to the goddess Amaterasu Mikami, which comprises of 2 fundamental sanctums and around 125 auxiliary holy places. While the area of the holy place is said to go back to the 3rd century, the standing structures have been destroyed and supplanted like clockwork most as of late in 2013, predictable with Shinto convictions in regards to death and re-establishment. One of the principal sanctuaries is accepted to house the consecrated mirror, called Yuta no Kagami, part of the imperial regalia of Japan. From outside, little can be seen aside from a fence and the structure's covered rooftops. Access is confined to simply the high priestess or cleric, who must be an individual from the Japanese imperial family. Number 8 is Area 51, Nevada. No rundown of disallowed spots would be finished without a notice of Area 51, the epithet for a far-off separation of United States Air Force Office Edwards Air Force Base, situated in southern Nevada. The office is covered in mystery, and keeping in mind that it has since quite a while ago accepted to be a trying office for test airplane and weaponry, connivant scholars most loved hypothesis that the base is the place where the U.S. government analyzes and stores a slammed outsider space make them the outsider tenants, including proof from an alleged outsider accident arriving in Roswell, New Mexico in 1947. While the zone encompassing Area 51 is a mainstream traveler objective for outsider aficionados, admittance to Area 51 itself is totally denied, but to knowledge and military faculty with unique leeway. The airspace over the base is additionally an off-limits zone and is supposed to be secured with against airplane weaponry and contender jets. Number 9 is Tomb of the Qin Shi Huang, China. The burial place of China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang, who kicked the bucket in 210 BC, is covered far below a slope in central China. The interment complex comprises of a confounded organization of underground sinkholes that were loaded up with all the things the ruler would require in existence in the wake of death, including mud multiplications of his armed forces, family, workers, ponies, and staff, generally known as the Terracotta Army. Since its underlying revelation in 1974, more than 2,000 sculptures have been unearthed, every one of them totally exceptional, and specialists accept that there might be more than 8,000 altogether encompassing the focal burial place, still yet to be revealed. Notwithstanding, the Chinese government may never permit the exhuming of the sovereign's burial chamber, deciding to regard the antiquated interment ceremonies. So while sightseers can get a brief look at the ruler's mud-armed force during a site visit, the old hero's fundamental burial chamber may stay unfamiliar inconclusively. Number 10 is Svalbard Global Seed Vault, Norway. The Svalbard Global Seed Vault is a huge underground seed bank and storeroom on the Norwegian island of Spitsbergen, around 800 miles from the North Pole, incorporated 400 feet into a mountainside. Formally opened in February 2008, the office currently stores around 840,000 examples of 4,000 distinct types of seeds, from everywhere in the world. The thought behind the seed bank is to give a security net against incidental deficit variety on account of a significant worldwide or provincial occasion. It works a lot like a security store box at the bank, permitting associations or governments to store seed varieties in the vault for safety's sake, and just they approach their stores. The 11,000 square foot office is insured by exceptionally progressed security frameworks, and access is carefully restricted to a small bunch of workers,